Welcome to the Coffee Pod mini-series of podcasts. This is the AI for Science and Government edition. In here, we want to focus on the people behind the projects and get to know them and their story. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Pod. I am currently recording this remote because our guest is speaking all the way up from Scotland. And I'm very, very happy to have here Fernando Benitez. Hello.
Hi there. Hi Bea, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Quite good. Here resisting the weather of Scotland, but quite happy.
That's wonderful because, at least I guess the weather has not been great everywhere. So I will start with my question that I've been asking all of our guests because this is the Coffee Pod. So my first question for you is, how do you take your coffee?
Well, I'm Colombian, so I'm quite strict with the coffee and all the type of coffees I get here in the UK and also in Scotland. So I usually take my coffee in the very early morning, and I usually take at least 4 coffees. So as you can see, I'm quite addicted to coffee, and it's been like that since I was living in my country. But yeah, I usually also add some portion of milk, something like that. But our coffee is quite soft. It's not as strong as it could be the espresso. But yeah, I'm quite a huge fan of coffee.
I'm a little bit sad that we are not having a coffee right now.
Unfortunately.
Because, yes. Hopefully we can have some coffee next time we are in person.
Hopefully. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, thank you. That is a great way of having coffee and a great amount of coffee. So my first question after this one that was so important is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your entire career? Because as you just said, you're Colombian, so you came from Colombia at some point.
Oh, yes. I moved to Europe when I wanted to start my PhD. So I did my PhD in Spain through Marie Curie Action support. So it was quite interesting project that involves 3 European universities, the University Jaume I, the University of Münster, and the University Nova in Lisboa. So I actually spent quality time in Lisbon. It was fantastic. And then I did my PhD in geoinformatics over there. And then I did the first postdoc in Scotland at the University of St Andrews, working in spatial data science. And then I just had the chance to work in the Turing again with urban analytics team and the shock and resilience project, which actually was really fantastic because I had the opportunity to work with several researchers. And yeah, my background is in spatial data science. I have been working in that area for a long time ago. And everything started, I would say, in the private sector. So I was working in Colombia, for ESRI Colombia, ESRI. So it's the developer of a platform, well known for managing, spatial data called ArcGIS. So I was working with them, and I got this kind of feeling of being a fan of maps and spatial data. And I wanted to do more. So that's why I moved from the private sector to the academia. And it's been a quite huge journey since I started moving from the private sector, then preparing myself as an academic, and now as part of the University of St Andrews.
Congratulations on your job as well.
Thank you.
So I have a question now, which is, so you said I guess you lived in Colombia and then you did your PhD in Spain.
Yep.
How did you find then moving to the UK? Because both were Spanish-speaking countries, right?
Oh, Lord. Well, it was quite a journey. So, initially I applied, for several applications. I mean, when you finish your PhD, you ended up having this kind of a struggle. Oh my God, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go for the private sector or the academia. I wanted to try out the academia a little bit more. So I applied for several universities, but one caught my attention, which was the University of St Andrews. And I tried my best to follow all the process. Fortunately, the university support me, in terms of the financial cost for the visa and the mobility issue. So I was living in Spain as like another immigrant from Colombia. So I had a kind of different kind of stuff. I need to move over there. And also the visa costs were super expensive. And also moving my cat was a huge struggle. So I'm living with a cat. He is also a Spanish one. So he got the Spanish passport actually before me. So moving my pet, it was also another traumatic experience, but I had the chance to get all the support from the university. I did all the process, and it was, yes, a little bit traumatic, expensive, and I will say some kind of barrier. So if you ask other people that they don't have the money because they're just finishing their PhD, there are going to be some kind of a barrier to reach that place. Once you are here, and if the university support this initial cost, then everything works really, really good.
I'm sorry to hear, but I can attest to all of our listeners that I have seen the cat, and it's a very cute cat. I can see in the background. And
it's actually sitting in my lap right now.
His face has made an appearance, and everyone is very jealous that I get to see the cute cat.
Yeah, it's quite popular in Instagram as well.
How did you find the UK itself? The culture shock, I guess.
Oh, well, it's again a little bit shocking. So I'm Latino. And then I moved to Spain. So it was a kind of a cultural shock, but it was very smooth because in Spain we have similar food. The language is the same. Although you might think that in Spain you speak Spanish, but no, we speak, where I live, they speak Valencian. And if you move to Catalonia, then they speak Catalan. And it's like a very, mix of different language, which is quite fantastic. But it was a smooth transition. But then when I moved to the UK, obviously it was a little bit stronger. This kind of shock was a little bit more strong, but it was okay. Like, it's up to you. Like, if you start to feel okay with the culture, with the food, with the things you can do, and consider that I moved from kind of a small city in Spain and I moved to St. Andrews, which was even smaller. But the whole vibe of gold, the whole vibe of having this amazing scenery here in Scotland just pushed me and helped me to do this kind of transition. And again, the support of local people, the university, and the different activities you can find over here was spectacular. And also the way to practice my English, because I just finished my PhD. It was in English, but though I did it in Spain, so the practice was very limited. So for me, it was fantastic to have the chance to practice my English over here. And I will say I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult in certain points, but it's up to you. You need to find the best places, friends, create your social circle, and try your best to integrate into the society.
From what I can tell from both your stories, that you've had quite a complicated with the visas and everything, and how difficult it was as a PhD student, and then as a Latino person coming to the UK. But it seems like you found your own support at the university.
Definitely. The university was a key aspect. The researchers I also find out over here, some of my friends also over here, and the support also of this kind of academic community you start to build. So there were other researchers trying to do the same, but in other places. And then you start to share this kind of experience, and your main focus is try your best to carry on with the project you have been hired. So it's amazing if you actually focus in these kind of objectives. Although I gotta say that during this initial transition, it was the pandemic hit. So unfortunately, I spent most of my first postdoc being locked down. But it was kind of okay because I was living in a cottage in the middle of the forest in Scotland. So I didn't actually have to lock down at all. My closest neighbor was 1 kilometer away. So it was quite fantastic. Obviously, because I come from a big city, then from Spain, this lack of social interaction was hitting me a little bit. But again, the support of the university, this vibe of doing my best for the project, and sometimes obviously the help of Jack, my cat, and the family obviously give you this kind of push that you needed.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And as I was saying, it's amazing that you got locked down in a cottage. That sounds like one of the best places.
Definitely was fun. I wouldn't say fantastic because we had really traumatic experience, everyone, all the struggles. But I will say was smoother than obviously other people living in big cities.
How did you find your time at the Turing? Because I guess you did your first postdoc in St. Andrews, and then you had a postdoc at the Turing?
Oh, was just fantastic. I mean, I couldn't be happier for that experience. So when I was again finishing my postdoc, I was in this period of transition where I should trying to find another position, and I find myself in the situation where I needed to learn more to become a proper academic, to follow this career. And I said, okay, I need another postdoc that provide me with more experience. So I applied for the Turing. I got the interview with fantastic people from different universities. And then I started working in shock and resilience from ASG. And I had also the chance to work actually in two projects. Urban Analytics, or the Urban Analytics team, led by Mark Berkin, and also Shock and Resilient. And it was for me fantastic having the chance of speaking and share ideas, with people from different backgrounds, different universities. That for me was, priceless. And also having the chance to develop one of the cutting edge stuff or models that we are being working on at this moment. So my time in the Turing couldn't be more interesting, excited. At the beginning, I start again in this COVID situation where we couldn't travel. So the first shock was, I was so excited to be in the British Library, and I couldn't travel. So I need to wait a little bit longer to reach that place. But when finally everything opens up, was fantastic going there, checking out the new offices, meet with the people you have been meeting Zoom. So the little box start to have shape and body. So it was amazing to share this experience with all my colleagues. And yeah, I gotta say it was quite important for me, because was actually the postdoc that boosted my career to get the current position I have.
Oh, that's amazing that you got such a positive outlook.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way, no?
And I guess you're still connected to the Turing, right? You're going to go down to AI UK.
Yes. So we submitted a couple of applications to do a demonstration. So I'm super excited that we got accepted for this demonstration. So I'm going to be there again in London to demonstrate what we have been doing during the last 2 years in the urban analytics teams, also with experience in shock and resilience. And hopefully we're going to be able to present to the large audience what we have been doing and the importance of our new tools.
Oh, that's so cool. And thank you for sharing with us as well. I'm going to now ask more questions about Fernando, because I want to know that besides all of this academic things, what is it that you enjoy to do? What is it that you do up there in Scotland?
Wow, I have several hobbies. I'm basically quite fan of maps. So all my house and office is always surrounded by different kind of maps. So this is going to be my first number one passion. But then I'm a huge fan of cycling. As you can see, behind me, I have another bike. So I'm trying to collect different type of bikes. I'm quite a cyclist. Although I would like to practice more, but especially because of here, the weather, when it's super windy, is basically a torture if you go outside and ride your bike. I'm also enjoy cooking. No? I really like to learn how to create new recipes. I try my best to replicate the recipes I know from Colombia, and I'm quite passionate to share other colleagues the taste of our arepas. So I'm quite proud of making my own arepas and show everyone, look, you need to combine your coffee with this arepa. And for me, it's just quite fantastic. And yeah, I think I will say that also hiking and running are other of my passions. So I always try to do my best to run a couple of miles during the week, and I use weekends to enjoy a long rides.
That is so cool. That is so many things. I have a question. How many maps do you currently have?
Oh, depending. In the office, I currently have 4, and in my house, I have at least, let me count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 only in the office. And in the living room, I have another 2, so 6.
That's really good. And is it any maps in particular or parts of the world?
Historical maps. I also I like these relief maps where you can clearly see some kind of the shape of the topographic shape of the maps, and also enjoy the roads or highway. These maps that you can highlight the roads, and then through the roads you can see the shape of the urban landscape. So I love this type of map, but it has to be any kind of map that basically help me to travel a little bit to a specific place or a specific period of the time.
Oh, that's amazing. And are the maps of like particular places, or do you just have like from all over the world?
First map I have here in front of me is Mercator projections, which is quite important for cartography. So I have this map as a reminder how important projections are, especially for my teaching activities and some of the discussions we have. And I also have maps around Scotland, because I really liked going out and enjoy the amazing scenery here in Scotland. So I try to plan in advance what type of trip I'm gonna do during the weekend. So I have 2 or 3 maps of Scotland, and finally maps of my country. So Colombia is quite a mixed and remarkable country with different type of landscape and an amazing topography. So I have a couple of maps of the Los Andes, this chain of mountains we have. I have another one from Bogota, which is the city where I born, and I think that's all.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I wonder, do you have anything else you would like to say?
No, I'm just looking forward to listen to the episode to see what are the reactions of other people, and just let other people that if they have a nice idea, they want to catch up with me, they want to just, they're more interested in my research areas or check what we have been doing in the Turing, I will be happy to, have a chat or just read your email. So it will be fantastic to share more ideas with other people. Hopefully another Colombians, another Latino are here in the UK that wanted to share some kind of ride or share some kind of coffee. We have very strong discussions about the coffee and the toppings, not the toppings, what would you use to drink your coffee. So yeah, for me it's arepas, but other people don't like it.
I will invite myself to those conversations.
Of course.
So. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to The Coffee Pod.
I'm your host, V. Costa Gomes, and the episodes are produced by Luca Lane. This is a collaboration with ASG, with a shout out to Zainab Ismail and Achintia Rao.
Our music has been produced by Spiders Eat Vinyl.